Welcome to Dee's Kitchen Lab. Today I'm going to make some pizza for dinner tonight, and this takes about 2 hours for it to rise. So I'm starting a little later than I thought, 4:45, but 4:45 we should have just a nice late dinner. So this one is all-purpose flour, 3 cups. We're going to use 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. You can use a packet of instant yeast. 1 packet should do it. It's a little bit more, but it should be fine. We're going to do 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, which is 1 teaspoon of regular salt. Then we're going to add our liquid, and here's where this departs from regular pizza. It's going to use 1 can of beer, any kind. The last time I made this, I used the beer right out of the refrigerator, and I think it slowed down the process. You're going to microwave it just so that it gets to be room temperature. What did I do? I did maybe 40 seconds. So we're gonna add that. And so it's easy to spread. This is not very traditional. 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. All right, so we just want to mix that all up. About 2 minutes of mixing is what you need. Is what you need, and then you don't have to knead. No kneading required. No need to knead. Uh-oh, sorry, puns. That's completely mixed, no dry patches. I'm just gonna spread that out now. You don't have to put oil or anything on top of that. And then we're gonna put that aside. Let me clean my hand. That's all there is to it. Cover that with plastic wrap, and we'll come back and see what that looks like in 2 hours. I actually put it underneath one of the under counter lights. It would rise faster. I'm just gonna, so it rose, and now we're going to spread this out onto a piece of parchment paper. I'm just gonna, I would do this backwards if I was really skilled so you could see it better, but I think you get the idea. And we're gonna put on some cherry tomatoes. So this is 1 pint of cherry tomatoes. I've washed those. I've got a pinch of salt and some garlic that I chopped together. A little bit of pepper. And I'm gonna mix that with a tablespoon of olive oil. So this is gonna give a little freshness to our pizza. And this is from Half Baked Harvest by Tegan Gerard. Oh, and a pinch of red pepper. And I like red pepper, so I'm gonna put 2 pinches in there. Let's see if we're going to stretch this. I need a little flour. Okay, so I'm spreading this right on the parchment paper, and this is gonna go right in the oven. The oven is heating at 450, so really hot. And it's been heating for an hour, because what happens when you open that oven is you lose a lot of heat. And also, you want the entire oven to be really hot, not just the air temperature, which is what's gonna fly out when you open the oven door. You want the actual oven itself, all of the metal to be heated up and to be superheated. You know, if you go to a restaurant that has a pizza oven, that oven can be 900 degrees. So you don't want to skimp on the preheat time. And I have a baking steel in the oven, which I bought from King Arthur Flour Company. And it really helps to retain that heat and makes great pizza. You can also use your pizza stone, which also needs to be heated up for quite a while, longer than you think. You can see that perfection is not the point here. All right, so we've got my tomatoes. This is 3/4 of a cup of tomatoes. I made a simple sauce, but you can use palmy. I like that a lot. It's just basically strained tomatoes. And I usually like an uncooked tomato sauce like that, just the strained tomatoes. It has a fresh quality that I really enjoy. Now, when you're putting your pizza toppings on, make sure to not put a lot in the center because that takes longer to cook. The edges are always going to cook faster. And you don't want the center to be all gloppy. So I'm going to sort of make that a little thinner. After that, we've got 1 cup of grated mozzarella cheese. So that's about 6 ounces, I would say, 5-6 ounces. And then I've got 1 cup of provolone cheese, which was about 4 ounces. This is a generous amount of toppings, but this dough can take it. I've got some pepperoni here, and this was, I found at the store, DeBruno Brothers. Have you ever gone there in Philly? They have wonderful meats and cheeses. And this is great pepperoni. So there were 4 pieces in this 8-ounce container. And so I just am using 1. So about 2 ounces of pepperoni. That looks nice. Now I've got my tomatoes. And these should burst in the oven and add a nice fresh quality to the pizza. All right, so I'm gonna slide this in the oven, cook it for 10 to 15 minutes at 450, preheated oven. Got it? Whoa. Okay, the just cleaned oven is going to be not so clean. So it's been 14 minutes and I think this is ready. We're just gonna slide that out. Woo, that looks amazing. And we're gonna let that cool for a minute. And doesn't that look great? Just beautiful. Fresh basil for looks and contrast, and also because it tastes delicious. I like cutting my pizza with scissors. It's easy, doesn't require any strength, and here we go. So this is set up for a minute or 2. The tomatoes have burst. Delicious. And we'll give that a taste. So good. I really like the fresh tomatoes on there. It gives it sort of a summery flavor, even though it's the middle of winter. The pepperoni gives it a lot of flavor. The crust is light, not too thin, just perfect, 1/4 inch thick. Really good. Okay, the next pizza we're gonna make is going to be a potato and burrata pizza. I know that sounds unusual, but it is a pizza that you will find in Italy all over. And I've been wanting to try this. So it's just 1 potato. This is a Yukon Gold. And This is an experiment. I haven't tried this before. We'll see how this comes out. I am going to add a little olive oil and some salt, a goodly pinch of salt because potatoes need a lot of it. I'm going to put a little bit of red pepper on there, some black pepper, and we're just going to mix that together. And she was saying to use cheddar cheese. I just can't put cheddar cheese on pizza, sorry. So I've got my mozzarella here, and you could use fontina. Maybe a little goat cheese would be nice. I think I have a little goat cheese. I might put a little bit of that on too. Sure, why not? Okay, so the last bit of dough was quite wet, so I'm just going to put a little bit of, I think I need a little bit more flour. All right, so I'm going to spread this out about a 1/4 inch thick. Okay, so I have coaxed this dough into a freeform shape. Really, any shape, it doesn't really matter. Pizza's gonna taste the same. And try to make it evenly thick so that the pizza cooks evenly. I like doing this part, this is fun. Playing with the dough. So I've got some pesto here. You can use store-bought. I made the lemon pesto, basically regular pesto with some lemon peel and lemon juice in it. So I'm going to add some thyme to my potatoes. Just add another flavor in there. If I had rosemary, I would have loved to have put that on there, but I don't have any rosemary. So I forgot to put the cheese on. So here's where, you know, when you're cooking, you can always, cooking is a problem solving, I've always said. So let's start again here. Take these guys off. And I've got my mozzarella cheese. About a half, 3/4 of a cup. Whatever you've got is fine. I think that should be perfect. All right, now we've got our potatoes, and I'm just gonna throw those back on there. So Amanda Hesser has something called Amanda Messes Up in the Kitchen. Well, this one is D messes up in the kitchen too. We all do. So, not so much that you can't recover. And I'm going to sprinkle that with a little bit of olive oil. All right, so next one ready. Whoops, one more piece. Next one ready for the oven. Okay, this one is ready to go. And our potato pizza has been in for 15 minutes. The parchment paper is just fine at this temperature. Looks pretty good. And that is, we've got Belgioso burrata, and this is 8 ounces. And we're gonna, oh, it broke right open. And we're just gonna let that melt and do its amazing thing all over this pizza. And we're gonna let that sit for 5 minutes, and we'll come back and give that a taste. I'm going to snip a little bit of fresh basil on there. Okay, we've rested the pizza for about 5 minutes. And here comes the moment of truth. Some creamy burrata and potato pizza. Something I've never had before. I'm going to scatter a little bit of red pepper on there just for a little bit more flavor and color. You eat with your eyes. All right, there's one one piece for you and one for me. My mouth is watering. Okay, let's see what we think of this one. So it's nice and brown underneath, but not overly brown. That was 15 minutes, maybe 16, and really interesting. Delicious. Should I put a little bit more salt on there? And I think it needs a tiny bit of this flaky salt. So the pesto that I used was lemon basil pesto. That tastes great. I have to try that again. That's great. I really like this. If you want to change up your pizza game, try this pizza. This one was more traditional, but the addition of the cherry tomatoes on top gave it a freshness that was really welcome in winter. This one was, just different and really fun. I recommend this pizza dough because it's pretty foolproof. It's quite wet, so it's easy to roll out, or actually I just stretched it out with my fingers. And if you've ever had pizza dough that is very hard to roll out thin, this one is going to be very forgiving for you. So that's our pizza episode for today, Dee's Kitchen Lab. Thanks for listening and happy cooking. Okay, so just another note about the pizza dough. This made 2 huge pizzas, and this one is particularly filling. So you don't have to use all of this dough. This made some, let's see. So this was a 14 inch pizza by 10 inches, which was plenty big. So you can take half of the dough and wrap it in saran and put it in the refrigerator for up to 3 days after you've let it rise. Or at this point, you can also wrap it in the saran wrap and put it in the freezer and keep it for up to 3 months and just thaw it out before you're ready to, maybe overnight in the fridge before you're ready to use it. But makes 2 big pizzas, and the dough is definitely worthwhile making. I hope you make it. Okay, done.